So, peace and love, gang. I'm glad to see us here and communing together and hoping to come together more deeply as we start a new cycle of A Course in Miracles. And so I guess we really started last week. So this is week 2.
Yes.
We are the Unity of Livonia, A Course in Miracles Study Group, a more astute group you won't find anywhere, and just a bunch of smiley faces when all is said and done. I'm thinking that's why we keep coming back. So it is a deep pursuit, but worth it. And gee whiz, we've got, can I say old timers, those that are repeating this course? Several of us, many times, we've been through this cycle. And so, Karen, I want you to see that this book can cast a spell on you in a good way. And while it's not for everybody, it may be the spiritual path for you. There are many others, and the Course would be the first to say that, wouldn't it? This is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others. So I hope it resonates with you, Karen, as we continue. Considering some of the theoretical material that's presented in the beginning of the course, it's small wonder why a lot of people leave without proceeding any further. So I just want you to know that we understand, and yet there was something that compelled us to read a little further and a little further. And before we knew it, we were getting hooked. And the very things were starting to happen to us that the book unbelievably said would happen. And so here we are, to my mind, right?
Right.
Any comments from the rest of you on anything or what I just said or your thoughts here? Does that mean you concur or
Yes.
you want to
Yes.
go against me here? Okay. We don't want to lead this poor lamb astray. We want her to know she's on solid ground with some other nice people. Anyhow, if you got the agenda, the first thing on the list is I wanted to see if you had any questions or comments on the material on the schedule this past week. We were to do the introduction to the workbook for students, and we were to complete chapter 1 in the text. What was that? Miracles, right? The meaning of miracles.
Miracles.
And we were to complete lessons 1 through 7 in the workbook, doing no more than one lesson a day. That's a lot, but it's a whole week, and you may as well get used to this pace because it's going to get harder but then it's going to get easier, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't be dismayed. What about that introduction to the workbook for students? Do you have any comments or thoughts about what Jesus is saying in the introduction? You all know where we are? Let's take a look at it real quick. A theoretical foundation such as the text provides is necessary. Y'all see where I am?
Yes.
Yes.
As a framework to make the exercises in this workbook meaningful. Uh, that'll help out when you, as you're looking at the first, well, really the entire text. The text is providing here. Let's kind of do a review, okay? I'm gonna do my best to summarize what's some really deep material right off the bat. And what makes it so deep is that it's theoretical. It's setting forth the science, if you will, the rules, the laws upon which this course, what's that word we used in the preface? The ability to produce the desired result. Hilda, you remember efficacy.
Yeah.
Remember the word efficacy?
Yes.
It's given us the evidence of why this is going to work. It's going to give us evidence as to why the miracle is miraculous. Now, it's going to set forth this evidence out with some basic premises about truth. But it fully recognizes these elements are not going to be understandable to you at the beginning, but they will provide the foundational connections as I start giving you the practical details. Here's the experience you're having, and here's why. And here's what the solution is. The miracle is the solution, but I also have to tell you why a solution is needed. And we're going to start that discussion, why a solution is needed, in week 2. That's tonight.
Okay.
How this whole thing began and why you think there's a problem. Now, what's he talking about, experienced course students? What caused the problem?
Fear.
Excellent, newbie. Thank you for stepping up. Not quite the term we use. It's the tiny mad idea. Now, have we or have we not talked about the tiny mad idea?
I don't think,
Please speak up, somebody.
We've talked about it a lot, the tiny mad idea.
Okay, we talked about it all the time.
Yes.
Did you know he referred to that in the beginning of the book? It was called The Separation.
oh,
Now, what's the title of our text reading tonight? Chapter 2. It starts on page 17.
yeah.
Separation and the atonement.
So when you think of the separation, you can also think of the tiny mad idea. Are you connecting these dots now?
Yes.
He's telling this story in theory of here's why you have a problem. Is that, now you've been through this before, have you thought of it that way? So when you have friends now that come up to you as experienced Course in Miracles students and say, well, how's this book put together? Well, you can say the first book presents the theory of why what I'm going to tell you is true. Why I'm going to tell you why part of it you believe cannot be true. That's what I'm doing next. How am I doing?
Good.
Right. Along the way we study A Course in Miracles, we do 2 books concurrently, don't we? We spend part of our day with the text or theory, but we don't wait until we finish all the theory to where we start right in on the application. So while we're reading about the theory, we're already getting started with the daily application of the theory, even though we don't yet understand the theory. We're just going to be willing to try it. And that's what the workbook is, okay? So, having said all of that, did I say too much in terms of review?
No.
Because we still got to do tonight's lesson and tonight's reading. So let's get our readers together. And I have Sherilyn White, number 1. Nancy, read or not read? Nancy, are you reading? Oh,
She's not. She's
Yes, I will.
she's muted. Oh, okay.
She
Hear me
said,
now?
go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll read.
The answer is yes. Nancy's 2. Karen is 3. Ron is 4. Frank, are you reading?
No.
Okay. Joan is 5. Hilda, are you reading?
I'm going to pass today. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right. So we got 5 readers: Sherilyn, Nancy, Karen, Ron, and Joan. So without further ado, we're starting chapter 2 in the text. Let's start with the text reading, okay?
It's on page 17.
Mhm.
Separation and the atonement. The origins of separation. To extend is a fundamental aspect of God, which he gave to his Son. In the creation, God extended himself to his creations and imbued them with the same loving will to create. You have not only been fully created, but have also been created perfect. There is no emptiness in you. Because of your likeness to your Creator, you are creative. No child of God can lose this ability because it is inherent in what he is, but he can use it inappropriately by projecting. The inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you and that you can fill it with your own ideas instead of truth. This process involves the following steps. First, you believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. Second, you believe that what is perfect can be rendered imperfect or lacking. Third, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. Fourth, you believe that you can create yourself and that the direction of your own creation is up to you.
Okay, and let's do another paragraph. Nancy?
These related distortions represent a picture of what actually occurred in the separation or the detour into fear. None of this existed before the separation, nor does it actually exist now. Everything God created is like him. Extension, as undertaken by God, is similar to the inner radiance that the children of the Father inherit from him. Its real source is internal. This is as true of the Son as of the Father. In this sense, the creation includes both the creation of the Son by God and the Son's creations when his mind is healed. This requires God's endowment of the Son with free will, because all loving creation is freely given in one continuous line, in which all aspects are the same order.
So does this sound theoretical to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So having a split mind, to me, the first response is a question. Is this true? I don't know.
Only as we progress will we understand, I guess, as we proceed.
And that's an example of how far this is from the way you think now. Okay. But I'm going to tell you up front what the theory is. Even though you don't understand it now, if I'm planting the seeds from which your understanding will grow as I give you more concrete examples of this. And that's what the rest of the book is going to do. It's going to say, I'm going to take 1,200 pages to prove to you what I said in the first chapters, the theory is true. How will you know they're true? Through their application. How else? How else can you know a theory is true?
Well,
Okay,
this
go ahead, dear.
when the theory is proven in some, or you
Uh, this
see the
is not
results.
rocket science. I'm going to appeal to your common sense, knowing it's true. It's the right-minded in you that this will resonate with, even though nothing in the world has taught you this really in this way. So I'm not only going to tell you what it is, I'm going to teach you how to do it. And I'm going to provide you with a teacher. How loving is that?
Very loving.
Okay. But listen, it's a process, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I'm not asking you to believe it or understand it. I'm saying, let me explain. And then this book unfolds from there, right?
Right.
To get more specific, and in paragraphs 1 and 2 that we just read, don't you see this is the tiny mad idea? Separation is a tiny mad idea. There are some things for me in paragraph 1. Jesus says, no child of God can lose this. I'm sorry, sentence 6. No child of God can lose this ability because it is inherent in what he is, but he can use it inappropriately by projecting comments.
I do it a
Sounds
lot.
like we haven't seen this before. I'm sorry, go ahead. Mhm.
I said I tend to do it a lot.
What?
Project.
Okay, so you're helping me out here. What is projection and what is extension?
By
What's,
projection, I'm perceiving more what it seems to me from more of an ego mind rather than spiritual mind.
oh, yeah, but what is it? I'm not asking so much where it comes from. Let's start with some definitions that are going to be useful. What is it? What is projection?
It's separation.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
it's
what
just
way is projection separation? Can you give us an example?
that when you're putting the situation or the thoughts on someone else and not
Okay, all
it's
right.
not in your head. It's you're projecting it that the other person is responsible for it.
So, yeah, it's like, thank you, Sherilyn. Uh, how about
Welcome.
the baseball? If you have a baseball in your hand and you throw it against the wall, is that an example of projection?
I would think we're talking about
Mm.
people and egos. It would be if you're putting this onto another ego or another person instead of taking it on yourself or admitting that it's
Sure.
your problem.
That's a great example, but I'm saying that I'm giving an even more generic example, like throwing a baseball. When you throw that baseball, aren't you and the baseball separate?
We're separating us.
Yes.
So another more negative connotation that may fit what you're saying, Sherilyn, is I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm letting this baseball go. That's projection. What's extension?
You go with it.
Extension is sharing.
Okay. You go with it. Sharing. Even though you may be in different areas, you're still connected to each other. God's plan is to extend. Our plan unnecessarily is to project. Why would we want to project rather than extend? Well, let me give you some of the real reasons. First, you believe that what God created can be changed by you. You want to separate from what God created and make it better or worse or whatever the hell your opinion is. Second, you believe that you can actually change perfection. Third, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. And fourth, you believe that you can create yourself and that the direction of your own creation is up to you. That's the only reason. No, that is the reason we project. Now, what are some different forms of projection? At its core, it's separation. How are we doing here? No matter how you cut it, projection entails some form of separation. Here's your motivation for wanting to do that. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Yes.
Is there anyone to whom this does not sound crazy? Let's talk about it.
I think it's saying that you forget that you're who you are, your spirit. You get caught up in other things
And
and you think you're separate and you're not. You're always in spirit.
okay, the impossible cannot happen. Okay, who in their right mind would say the impossible is possible? Who in their right mind? That's why it's called a tiny mad idea. It's preposterous. But look at what powerful beings we are. We can hold on to those ideas despite God Himself. Is that insane? Do you see the extent of the insanity? So, this is going to come up again, the tiny mad idea. I don't know, chapter 27. But I want you guys, it's important. I mean, every year you go through this, you can get more out of it in terms of what you're seeing in it. So I want you to see, he's telling us how this whole thing came about. And right here at chapter 2, it's this tiny mad idea. You didn't know we were going to spend so much time, but that is the problem. Anything else from you? All right, let's go on a little bit further here. We're up to Miss Grovel, please.
The Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition, was a state of mind in which nothing was needed. When Adam listened to the lies of the serpent, all he heard was untruth. You do not have to continue to believe what is not true unless you choose to do so. All that can literally disappear in the twinkling of an eye because it is merely a misperception. What is seen in dreams seems to be very real. Yet the Bible says that a deep sleep fell upon Adam, and nowhere in there reference is his wake up. The world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. It still remains within you, however, to extend as God extended his spirit to you. In reality, this is your only choice because your free will was given you for your joy in creating the perfect.
Thanks, Karen. Ron?
All fear is ultimately reducible to the basic misperception that you have the ability to usurp the power of God. Of course, you neither can nor have been able to do this. Here is the real basis for your escape from fear. The escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement, which enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred. Only after the deep sleep fell upon Adam could he experience nightmares. If a light is suddenly turned on while someone is dreaming a fearful dream, he may initially interpret the light itself as part of his dream and be afraid of it. However, when he awakens, the light is correctly perceived as the release from the dream, which is then no longer accorded reality. This release does not depend on illusions. The knowledge that illuminates not only sets you free, but also shows you clearly that you are free.
Okay. We've read 3 and 4. Any comments here?
I never heard that part about how he never woke up.
Maybe they didn't feel it was worth considering because they think he. Let's stay here 1 second. That's okay. You never heard that Adam never woke up from the dream? Is that because not hardly anybody knows this? Is that why you never heard about it?
I never heard of that.
Have you never heard it brought up because it's not even on people's radar that we could all be here in Adam's dream?
I've not heard of it.
Could be.
Because they don't know it. I mean, there are not many things. There's nothing I read that brought that up. So you're not alone to me, Karen. How about the rest of you? Before A Course in Miracles, has it ever occurred to you that Adam never woke up from a dream?
No.
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 Okay. So we're just getting started with insights that I had never heard before. All right. Having said that, there was something else. Let me go back to paragraph 2 that Spirit kind of put on my mind here. Paragraph 2, sentence 8. Y'all see it? It says, this requires God's endowment of the Son with free will, because all loving creation is freely given in one continuous line. What's that mean to you? What requires God's endowment? Well, oh man, I don't know. This is getting pretty deep here. Let me start at sentence 3, paragraph 2, sentence 3. Everything God created is like him. Extension as undertaken by God is similar to the inner radiance that the children of the Father inherit from him. Its real source is eternal. I'm sorry. Is internal. Because that's the point I wanted to make, is that it grows from within to without. It extends. Everything on the out is coming from within. Isn't that what it said? It is, its source is internal. Remember how the Course says everything is mental? I'm thinking about the Kabbalion again, Sherilyn. Mentalism. Everything is mental. The source, the power of everything is of the mind. And so this connects, though, with the nature of God and that statement. Everything is talking about love is freely given in one continuous line. The source must be like its effects. So what that means to me is the power of this thing comes from what it is. It needs no external help from anything. It's clicking at some sort of mechanism that is a perfect alignment of things together, a perfect alignment. And its power is its perfection. It's a certain balance that is like pianissimo, whatever that word is. Wow. And it works under its own power. Now, let's talk about what that power is. It gives, and as it gives, it perpetuates itself because of the radiance. It's a feedback loop. How am I doing here? I'm going too deep. It's an inner radiance, an inner power that never ends. It's completely self-sufficient. In order to maintain its self-sufficiency, what it gives off has to continue to do the same thing it does. The creator and creation have to be in the same order, the same alignment. That's why it had to give you what it has, free will. Does that make sense? Although it took a long time to get there. You'll hear us say, God himself cannot make you do what you don't want to do. Why? Because love is love is love. Whether it's from you or from the Creator, it only works one way. That is what gives it its perfect power. When you try to mess with it, you'll feel the effects. Its power vacillates, not in truth, but in your little old separate self. The one that doesn't extend like its creator, but think you can waft off and do your own thing. You can definitely do it, but it has effects and you'll feel its consequences. Too deep?
No.
Okay. Now we're going to kind of take a heavyweight version through some of this because so many of you have been through this many times before. And I believe are prepared to go like, let's go even deeper. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? As much as brings a smile to your face, because the more you learn, the happier you become. Okay. So I double back all the way to paragraph 2, but we had read up through paragraph 4. Any comments there? Anything that you may have highlighted or put a mark by? Oh, wait. Hey, unmute yourself there, Miss Sue. How are you, my dear?
Oh, better today. I had vertigo for 7 days.
Oh, really? Well, I'm so glad you're better.
Tonight I debated and then I said, oh, I'm coming on so late. And then I said, it'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're a very accommodating group. All is in divine order. So you showed up exactly when you were supposed to, okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Do you know where we are?
Yeah, I caught that. I'm on the right page in information.
Okay, great. I was going to ask the group about one other comment.
Thank you.
And just to make sure we've got it, it's paragraph 4 on page 18. All fear is ultimately reducible to the basic misperception that you have the ability to usurp the power of God. And after the speech I just gave, isn't that what the foundational issue is, that you can change reality?
Yeah, we should try.
Well, here's the thing. You can only change reality as you see it.
Right.
But with your free will and lack of knowledge, otherwise call your individual consciousness, your individual perception, what's to keep your reality from bumping into Karen's reality? Ron or Frank or Joan or, okay, which reality is reality? You've all got free will. Which reality is reality?
God's reality.
I.e., none of yours. None
Right.
of yours. So, if God is the author of reality, why would you refuse to see it that way? Are you crazy?
Yes.
Starts with an E, right?
No.
Okay. Making
No.
sense? You're following? Okay.
Say that again, Jim.
Huh?
Will
I
you say
said,
that again?
is it making sense? Are you following things okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sue, you good?
Yep.
All right, let's read some more then. We're up to Ron, did you read? Didn't you read last?
Yes, I did. We're up to
Okay.
June.
So I'm showing Joan, right?
All right. Is that paragraph 5?
Yeah, and then Joan, if you be followed by Sue, she can be reader 6. At any rate, we're on paragraph 5, Joan.
Okay. Whatever lies you may believe are of no concern to the miracle, which can heal any of them with equal ease. It makes no distinctions among misperceptions. Its sole concern is to distinguish between truth on the one hand and error on the other. Some miracles may seem to be of greater magnitude than others, but remember the first principle in this course. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. In reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from yourself and others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. Peace is an attribute in you. You cannot find it outside. Illness is some form of external searching. Health is inner peace. It enables you to remain unshaken by lack of love from without and capable, through your acceptance of miracles, of correcting the conditions proceeding from lack of love in others.
Okay, and that's the end of that first section. Comments, questions, the origin of the separation, what happened, and what it's based on. To me, it says it was merely based on a mistake. What do you think? It's merely based on a mistake so obvious that you'd have to be insane to even come up with it. It's the belief that the impossible is possible and suffering from it. Nuts, right? Okay. All right.
Interesting.
By the way, before we leave paragraph 4, and just look at sentence 6, there's a key word. It says, escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement. The escape from what?
Separation.
Oh, well, even deeper, the escape from fear is what's being discussed. So the escape from fear is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement which enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred. What is the definition we use for atonement? The correction of errors in thinking. Have you heard this before?
Yes.
Repetition is good, right? I
Right.
want you to see if you use a definition, it'll take you through this whole book. The correction of errors in thinking. Why is the correction of errors in thinking so important? Because thought is the most powerful thing there is. It is the method God Himself uses to create. You have the same power, the power of thought, and it will make or create things as you will. It will create things that are in alignment with reality, and it will make things that are in alignment with the false self you thought you could separate into. They'll look really real, both of them. Not because they're real, but because of the perfect power you have. It'll work for good or it'll work for evil. In truth, there is no separation between what you would call good and what you would call evil. These are made up concepts. That separation, that creation has separate autonomies like good and evil, up and down, night and day. You go to Unity Church, right? We talk about all as one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is it or not? They both can't be true, right?
Right.
Right.
We can continue.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
I had a minor case of vertigo compared to years ago, but I slept for 7 days. Literally, I was sleeping all day long, partly from the medication, which is Bonine over the counter. And I'm perfectly healthy and I'm okay now. But when I was sleeping, I'm a person who goes. I've got, all these programs, etc. But I was thinking about what I am supposed to do next. And that's been on my mind because I'm changing a lot of things and going into a lot of new areas, or the same areas done differently. So I would say that the fact that I was sleeping, it was really to get me to get to be awake, to know where to go next. That was my thought on it. Now, I don't know yet, but I know that the meetings I'm having with people are the right meetings. I feel it within me. So, while I don't have answers, there had to be a reason for the fact that I was so tired from the Bonine and from the minor vertigo, that I just slept and thought.
Of course, there's a reason.
So that reason came from God.
I don't know where it came from. I'm not going to speculate on that just yet. But there is a universal law called cause and effect.
Yeah, right.
It's one of the 7 Hermetic principles at any rate. Cause and effect says nothing can happen without a cause. And you can't have a cause unless it produces effects.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
do you see why I have no idea is compatible? I can say that without saying, but I can rest assured there's a cause. And
Okay.
if it's the cause of your Holy Spirit and you see it as giving you inspiration during that respite time of sleep, then test it out. See if it continues to come together as a new direction for you. You know, what we're saying is just be open and let things unfold each day and pay attention, because they'll give you the right direction. What do the rest of you think? Sue was asking, why was I sleeping so much, right, Sue?
Well, yeah, that's very unusual for me, especially with vertigo.
Okay.
But I
Mysterious.
run on 5 hours a night sleep.
Mhm.
That has something to do with it from a logical standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I guess the colloquial thing I'd say is go with it. Does it feel good? Does it feel inspired?
Yeah,
Test
it
it out.
feels like I'm getting messages that are
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah, good deal.
Only God has to figure out another way to do it.
Well, here's the thing now, call me lazy, but I'm getting to where I don't figure out anything.
No, that's not lazy.
I just trust that the Holy Spirit is going to do what he said he was going to do in the book. And so far, I'm well and prospering. How about you?
Me too.
The
good.
bonus is I don't spend all that time worrying, trying to figure things out, or trying to plan the future. Oh, Lord. Go with me to lesson 135. It's Frank's favorite, or one of them. Can you find that in your book, Sue?
I gotta get there.
Lesson one in the workbook, lesson 135.
Workbook.
And
If I defend myself, I am attacked.
oh, wonderful. And go to paragraph 11. And
Healed
Sue,
mind
do you
does not
have it?
plan.
Sue,
Says a
do you
healed
have
mind does not plan.
Okay, well, I'm just making sure Sue is there. Are you in the book yet?
I'm almost there.
Okay.
Okay,
And
I'm at 135.
And then go to it's on page 253,
I got it.
paragraph 11.
Okay.
And Hilda's gonna read that sentence or two. Go ahead and read, Hilda.
Okay, it says a healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own.
Read a
And I
little
think
bit.
that is really very profound as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to live by.
Yeah.
Don't plan, nothing.
Yeah, I know it's one of Frank's favorites and one of my favorites. And do you see how easy that makes your life? I mean, just the practical benefits of living your life. It's like you trust that there is a purpose, that there is a guide, that there is we're headed towards something. You know, I maintain the world is a lesson. It's a teaching tool designed to teach us something that's going to help us. Like, what am I? Why am I here? What is my true purpose? or something helpful like that. It could happen, right? It could be a lesson, a simulation, a dream, but a dream for a lofty purpose. Why does it have to be bad?
Well, it could be very good.
Yeah, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go with that. Okay,
How's it working for you?
so
How's it working for you?
so my life feels so much better, and
Good.
it doesn't depend on these external things. It's like you'll start to get this little inner power that feels good, and like no matter what happens on the outside, you're an observer now. Have you ever heard the term lucid dreaming?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like you see the big picture. So if you know this is a dream and it's supposed to teach me something for my good, I'm going to try it. So now I just want to be a good student. You ain't going to have to drag me kicking and screaming with that old C-D+ mentality, that uncertainty, that unwillingness. I'm just going to get on board happily. Sounds like a plan to me. How about you?
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sure beats this other stuff we've been trying. I mean, when are wars gonna end? When are people gonna stop the violence? I'm completely aviolent, or I'm trying to be, because my power doesn't lie in that. My power now lies in just being love, what I am, being myself. Let's any comments? I'm seeing that speechless.
I thank you for what you said, because I was thinking as you were sharing, I was just relating to it, because I can be a planner. I'm also an observer, and balance is very important to me. And balance is what gives me a lighthearted feeling no matter what's going on. I can find a sense of humor in things, and I can dismiss myself from getting involved, but I can still help others. And then I do a better job, by the way.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. Comments from anyone else?
I'm going to read lesson 135, paragraph 11.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It is probably the longest lesson in the workbook, but well worth it.
We'll get to it in a very short period of time. 135 days from now. Well, less than that.
These pages we're doing tonight have helped immensely.
Absolutely. So I'm thinking let me see where we left off here. We finished that first one. Let's do some more. The atonement as a defense. We're back in the text. Okay, page 19. And Sherilyn, we're back to you.
Okay. The atonement as defense. You can do anything I ask. I have asked you to perform miracles and have made it clear that miracles are natural, corrective, healing, and universal. There is nothing they cannot do, but they cannot be performed in the spirit of doubt or fear. When you are afraid of anything, you are acknowledging its power to hurt you. Remember that where your heart is, there is your treasure also. You believe in what you value. If you are afraid, you are valuing wrongly. Your understanding will then inevitably value wrongly, and by endowing all thoughts with equal power, will inevitably destroy peace. That is why the Bible speaks of the peace of God which passeth understanding. This peace is totally incapable of being shaken by errors of any kind. It denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you. This is the proper use of denial. It is not used to hide anything, but to correct error. It brings all error into the light, and since error and darkness are the same, it corrects error automatically.
Do we dare? Let's do one more, Nancy.
True denial is a powerful protective device. You should deny any belief that error can hurt you. This kind of denial is not a concealment, but a correction. Your right mind depends on it. Denial of error is a strong defense of truth, but denial of truth results in miscreation, the projections of the ego. In the service of the right mind, the denial of error frees the mind and reestablishes the freedom of the will. When the will is really free, it cannot miscreate because it recognizes only truth.
Okay. Stuff is deeply good. I mean, isn't that funny when you read something where every sentence almost carries the same weight? Where
Yes.
you can spend an hour talking about each of them if you wanted to. We certainly don't have that luxury. I would just start out with a point of clarification. In paragraph 1, he says, "You can do anything I ask." Who's I?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Christ.
All right.
The
So
Holy Spirit.
you see, Karen, it's already getting real personal, right? Okay. When I started the course, the first difference I saw, I was a Bible student for several years, and the Bible is a collection of is a collection of stories designed to present a message. You know, it had different authors, you know, Peter and then Isaiah and all the different authors of the Old Testament and that. But A Course in Miracles isn't like that. It's 1,200 pages of supposedly Jesus talking to you. So if you can give him a little slack and listen to what he's saying, pretty soon your doubts about whether or not this is Jesus or some immortal super soul, supernatural being talking, your doubts get dispelled the more you let him explain. So he starts out by saying, "I have asked you to perform miracles." What is a miracle? A miracle is merely going from seeing what is false to seeing what is true. You can have the same image in front of you, and it can be true or false. Thoughts will simply produce what you sent them to produce. But every image you produce is not necessarily reality. It's like we said before, you have free will, right?
Mhm.
You can make up any crap you want, and it'll still come on the screen. And it'll look like it's reality. But what you're not looking at reality, you're looking at the image produced by your thought power. Do you see how powerful it is? And how comprehensive it is? So the first step, I think, is this thing where he says the atonement as a defense. He's going to talk about why the correction of errors in thinking and show you that that will keep out the illusions. The Holy Spirit is going to show you how to discern truth from illusion. Here, please forgive me. Some nights I get, well, pretty much most nights I come, I have no idea what I'm going to say or how long or how organized it is. But I hope you can appreciate me sharing my experience kind of as we go along through this study. What I want to do tonight, as far as the text, though, is to simply ask you to finish up these sections. You don't have to finish them all. Follow the schedule, all right? And we have that schedule so that when Jim or Reverend Jim wafts off and the night goes long, we can still try and stay on the same page. So what I want to do in the time remaining is move over to our workbook lesson. So particularly to give Karen an idea of what this part of the study feels like. And so we are on lesson 8 tonight. It's on page 13 in the workbook for students. So let's go there and see if we can do our lesson together this evening. Nancy, you just read, right?
Yes.
So we're up to Karen. And what we're going to do, Karen, is we're going to read the lesson and then we're going to meditate on the lesson title, allow any related thoughts to come into our head, allow any unrelated thoughts to come into our head, but try and let them go on past so that mainly all we're going to be applying our thought power to is the title of today's lesson. Now, I put some music on to kind of give us a background for our reflection. And that's how we do the workbook well, you can do your own music at home if you prefer that, or however you choose meditation. But meditation will be a part of all 365 lessons. we will have a meditation period. So without further ado, Karen, would you start lesson 8?
My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. The idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot, in fact, understand anything.
Thank you. And Ron, paragraph 2.
The one wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not here. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this, because it is not really thinking about anything.
Thanks. And Joe?
The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas is the first step to opening the way to vision.
And Sue?
The exercises for today should be done with eyes closed. This is because you actually cannot see anything, and it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you are not seeing anything. With as little investment as possible, search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there. Name each one by the central figure or theme it contains and pass on to the next. Introduce the practice period by saying, I seem to be thinking about. Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, I seem to be thinking about a name of a person, about a name of an object, about a name of an emotion, and so on, concluding at the end of the mind-searching period with, but my mind is occupied with past thoughts.
Sherilyn?
Just flip the page around.
We're on 14.
I know, I just have to get there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure.
It's all right. 6. This can be done 4 or 5 times during the day, unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying, 3 or 4 times is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself.
Okay. And so let's meditate on the lesson title for a few minutes and just kind of reflect on what we just read, and then let's talk about any insights or comments or questions after we're done with that. I want to change this for a minute. Bear with me. want to. Oh no. They changed the menu around. Hold on. There we go. So and share. That's better. Well, let's just put some background music on and spend a few minutes with it. With that, and I'll talk with you a little bit on the other side of the music. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I'm muted, everybody, so unmute yourselves and we'll kind of close things out for tonight. Here, let's summarize, okay? My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. So during that meditation, you were free to select your thoughts, right? He didn't say, think of this or think of that. He did say, you seem to be thinking about whatever. Then name your thoughts specifically. I seem to be thinking about whatever or whatever or whatever. You were free, right?
Right.
What is the point we're making here? This lesson 8, startling thing that maybe we didn't know, but maybe it's going to help with the goals of this course. Which of your thoughts were not about the past? Very few. It's kind of akin to in music. Have you ever heard people talk about the messages between the notes? That there's music not only from note to note, but there's also music in the silence. So maybe not all of you have heard of that, but that's one analogy. The point I'm going to make is this: no matter what thoughts you had, what kinds of thoughts, pretty much all of them were of the past. What I'm trying to tell you is that there is no past. Where is it? There is no past. So all of this time, your preoccupation is with things that are meaningless because they have no reality now. Present. Isn't that what he talked about?
Yeah.
So I'm just presenting some stuff that maybe you haven't paid attention to about yourself. Is that good to know? Because this is just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it, of where we're going with this. What did lesson 1 say? And we'll close.
Nothing is real.
Nothing I see in this room.
Yes. Read it again, please.
Nothing I see in this room, on the street, from this window, in this place, means anything.
Okay. So we're going to start out with the shock between what you think reality is and what I'm going to explain to you it really is. And I want you to see if what I bring up for you makes sense. Even if you don't like it, at least you had the alternative to hear about another thought system. So I hope you're intrigued. Did you have a good time, though?
Yes.
At the bottom of lesson 1, Jesus says something that is worth noting. Could someone read the last sentence in the bottom of lesson 1?
Make no attempt to.
Go ahead.
You want me? Okay.
Yeah.
It says, make no attempt to include anything particular, but be sure that nothing is specifically excluded.
No,
that's
Hilda,
true, I'm sure.
Hilda, read the last sentence in lesson 1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I thought that's what it was. It says a comfortable sense of leisure is essential.
Okay. So
A
the most
comfortable sense.
counterintuitive thing we need to know and do in these lessons is I specifically want you to take pressure off. Okay? It's not a challenge. I don't want you to work into this. I want you to relax into it, or else you'll be constricted by your false images. Like, here's something else I gotta learn. Oh boy, that's gonna be hard. No, it's gonna be easier with a sense of leisure. And those that are here, everybody, you've been through this course before, and you gotta relax into it. It's very counterintuitive, isn't it? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're having a conversation here, people. Thank you for being here. I got reasonable assurances that you all had a good time. Karen, any comments from you? A good barometer here.
Could you remind me, you made a comment about what atonement meant?
The correction of errors in thinking.
Thank you.
The correction of errors in thinking is all important because you have thought power. The same power as your creator. You make worlds with your thoughts. Be careful what you think. You're in need of a course in mind training so you don't keep hurting yourself. How am I doing?
Great.
All right. Well, we could go on, couldn't we?
Oh, yes.
Of course we won't, and I thank you for your indulgence tonight. Any final comments before we go to Hildegard?
Another good session, Jim. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's certainly great to have you back, Nancy and Sue. I'm glad you could be here. Join us whenever you can. Hildegard, we'll do our prayer of protection.
I'm ready. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. I am the light of God.
I am the light of God.
I am the love of God.
I am
the love of God.
I am the power of God.
I
am the power of God.
I am the presence of God.
I am
the presence of God.
Therefore, wherever I am,
wherever I am,
God is.
God is.
And all is well.
And all is well.
There is nothing to fear.
There
is nothing to fear.
There is only love.
There is
There's
There is
only
Only
love.
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 Namaste.
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 All right. Well, we're off and kicking on another journey, and I wish you well with that. I know you will be successful. I know I will be successful
Yes.
because love leaves no one out. Thank you, God. All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Jim.
everyone.
Bye.
Have a
One.
blessed week, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.